delegated to Massi, Indonesia, delegated to Malaysia. Kane PSV, Republic of, where am I going with this? Kane PSV, the Netherlands, and us in Switzerland, delegated to Kane PSV, the Netherlands. And that's O, New Zealand, Kane, Nigeria, YP Poland and Hungary, delegated to YP Poland, UPF Portugal and Turkey, delegated to Turkey, delegated to UPF Portugal, IPSF Rwanda and KIPSA Kingdom, delegated to IPSF Rwanda, NATSA Serbia and SIPA Algeria, delegated to NATSA Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, Slovenia, SPSF Sudan, SNAP Sweden, not present, PSU to Thailand, and NUSPS Singapore, delegated to PSU to Thailand, TATSA Tanzania, ATEF Tunisia, not present. PPSA United Kingdom, APHA ASA USA, and ZPSA Zimbabwe. Have to be present for the roll call. The vote to be, for the vote to be given, it has to be present at the roll call. So because she's not present at the roll call, we can't give the vote to Dale. Yeah. You didn't ask me. I didn't inform her that she needs to be present for the roll call.
You figured it out after she left.
Is it possible for us to do that?
Forty-five countries present.
Okay. So I need a proposal and seconded, so PSV the Netherlands, seconded by BPSA UK, to resume the standing orders. Anyone against resuming the standing orders? Okay, so we're back for another session of GA. And we will start with motion number 61 to approve this, the 62nd IPSF General Assembly approves Mr. Daniel Semi, HMF ATB Indonesia, Ms. Amelia McLeod, individual member of Australia, as scrutineers for the duration of the 62nd IPSF General Assembly. This motion shall not be reviewed once it has been achieved. I will open the floor for discussion on this motion. Since there are no comments or questions, I will close the floor for discussion and we will proceed to the vote. Anyone against this motion, please raise your voting cards up high. Okay. Any abstentions? Okay, so the motion carried unanimously. We will now continue with the financial report. So we have Ms. Melicheva online, ready to answer your questions, so we will do her report first. Is that okay? Thank you. So motion 28 is the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Chairperson of External Relations 2015-2016. So I would welcome Ms. Dale to the microphone.
Okay, and so Maddie is actually on WhatsApp right now, and she is watching our live feed. So we'll still be typing the questions to her via WhatsApp, so that then if there are audio problems with the live feed, then it's a support for her, which is to let you know she is present with us right now. So go ahead and open the floor for questions for her report. Got a Portugal, followed by Jacinta.
Ivan, a question. I want to ask Ms. Mary if she has any suggestion to improve, maybe for IPSF or sponsors or partners. Thank you.
So the strategy to improve the financial situation of IPSF, specifically in regards to sponsors. Okay, Jacinta Slovenia, followed by IPHA IPSF.
Martin, just for the Slovenia, since this was a job for chairperson of external, why was LinkedIn profile of IPSF not updated properly?
Repeat that last part. LinkedIn. Oh, yes. I did send her that question during the break, so when she's sending her replies, yes, thank you for reminding us on that. And then APHA is USA.
Ali Jo, APHA is USA. We were hoping we could get a brief self-reflection from her, as we did not see that included in the report on her position and what she accomplished this year.
Okay. What we can try to do, and make no promises that this technical situation will work, but since she is available on WhatsApp, we have the ability to leave voice as reply. We can have her respond via voice, and I can try to hold it up to the microphone. People really like that suggestion. Okay, so we'll try that, so that you can actually hear her. Okay, so what she has typed so far is in regards to Beth Orgel's question. I would like us to maintain the sponsorships that we have in order to establish our reputation as a competent and consistent partner. I have also been looking into ways which to broaden our communication platform, and this actually ties into the LinkedIn question. The LinkedIn page, I've been trying to find which IPSF email is the sole proprietor, which I've been running into issues with. So it's more of a access issue due to handover over the years, trying to regain that LinkedIn page. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, well, I just tried a little call to her, and she's on speakerphone, and we can maybe see this situation. All right, Maddie, go ahead and try to speak for us.
Okay, is everyone here?
Hey! All right, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, excellent. So for each question, I started typing the beginning of it, and it had to do with the financial stability, or not even stability, I guess, to avoid Yes.
Thank you.
So to Yvonne's question about financial sponsorships, first, as I had addressed, I think it's very important to establish ourselves in our reputation to be a good sponsorship receiver and partner, and with the good sponsors that we have. So that has been a big focus of mine, is to this year has been working with Walters Kluwer, working with Eli Lilly to make sure that we understand what we're working with them. I also realized a lot of these sponsorships have come from personal contact at events, which is difficult for our students to travel to and also very expensive. So I've been looking to develop online platforms that sponsors who know our resources and our scope can invest in us and who look into us. This way I've looked to the LinkedIn page. I've had some difficulties finding who ownership of the LinkedIn page is and how to edit that page. I've checked external IPSF permanent officer email and locations, none of which is being recognized. So this is another technical issue that needs to be explored. I think Yvonne, you know this firsthand. I've been looking into develop a way that sponsors can contact us and potentially create a marketing campaign for sponsors. Just finding specific niches that they would be interested in investing in us. I think another important factor of investing, sponsorship investing is within our development fund. So thinking about ways for sponsors to donate into that pool. Specifically, I've been looking for ways that they could donate to us, and that they receive tax-exempt status, which is something that the president and treasurer have been looking into this year, but we have not yet received. So this makes it more difficult for sponsors, or I guess it gives sponsors less incentive to donate to us, because they could not receive that tax-exempt status. And that's I'm not sure if he has any follow-up questions.
No, I think he's put his green card up a few times with some smiles. So I believe that has addressed the question. Just as a technical point, we did go to our 8 minutes, but I see some green cards saying that we'd like to hear the answers to the rest of the questions with that in mind. Perfect. Okay, so Maddie, if you'd like to address the other questions the information's been presented to you verbally now.
Could you just could you read that?
Can you guys read the questions?
I can check my chat.
Yeah, I'm calling you online, so it's hard. So the last thing is a personal reflection on your report. This was requested by APHA, ASP USA, because it was not something that they saw in the actual written report. So just briefly, self-reflection for the year.
Yeah. So I think it was very much a learning year for me in terms of what partners are expecting from us. And I guess learning how to professionally communicate and the difficult barriers that we have with it's just communicating with people that live across the world or across different countries has been challenging, but I think that I was able to really write a very good hand in hand for whoever fills my position next, because I came across many challenges in this position that I hope to alleviate for the next person. I think that also expanded my professional network very much, and learned to write professional emails consistently, and I think just generally the experience I had, and I think that was very rewarding.
Thank you, Maddie. I'm going to have Warren come back up to the stage.
Thank you. Okay, so discussion is closed. As we went for the 8 minutes. Ще се фиде Словения. Okay.
Martin, just the Slovenia. So the last post on the LinkedIn page was 6 months ago. So I suggest that the team finds out who posted it, so you know who has the access to it.
Okay, thank you, Martin. We will move to voting on motion 28. It reads, this, the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Chairperson of External Relations 2015-2016. So anyone against this motion, please raise your voting cards up high. Any abstentions? Report approved unanimously. Okay, so now we're moving to the financial report. Okay, actually we're going to the report from the Chairperson of Professional Development. So let's just do it rapidly. Okay, motion 32 refers to the report of the Chairperson of Professional Development, and I would like to welcome Ms. Stephanie to the stage.
Can you guys hear me if I talk like this? Yes, stand on my tippy toes. Okay, good. Okay, so you should probably have all seen my report, just to highlight a couple of things in it. With the 5 portfolios that I have underneath of me, so the training program, we had Ms. Practical Jam as our training coordinator this year. We were able to host 2 trainers development camps, one in Rwanda and one in the Czech Republic. We've got a whole 2 new generations of IPSF trainers, assuming that they submit their 8 hours of work. We've also had quite a few LIT programs organized this year. We've had an LIT in AFPS, APPS, EMPS, and an introduction at PARS. We also acquired a sponsor for the Leaders in Training program, and that's the PLS Society, which is a leadership fraternity. Moving along to terms of professional awareness, back on with our coordinator, we are in the process of producing a policy statement on advanced pharmacy practice. We're also working on our campaigns for World Pharmacist Day, which is coming up in September, with competition, and then a World Pharmacist Day, Pharmacists Around the World campaign as well, which we started this year. Patient counseling event. Juliet was our patient counseling coordinator. She hosted an online patient counseling event this year. We were also able to bring the patient counseling event to every region this year through the regional symposiums, as well with Euro at France GA. And this year, just a quick bit of information, this is the highest number of PCE participants that we have had sign up at World Congress for the PCE event this year. Clinical skills event, we did a CSE and a PCE in PARS this year, which is the first time that these events have ever been done at the PARS region. And then also, so Angel was really busy helping out with that, as well as doing CSE guidelines he's working on. And compounding event, we have a new sponsor for the compounding event, and Clement has vastly improved the compounding event since it started, and we now have guidelines published for that as well. And I guess I'm on time. 27 seconds. Project Foundation System, and I'll tell you quickly about this. It's been redone. We just need to approve it with the executive, and I'll be having a quick little introduction to the project accreditation system for CPs to tell you how the system is actually run. So hopefully that clarifies any confusions that has happened over the past couple of years. Questions? I like this microphone.
Okay, so everyone followed by the question.
I just have a question about in the goals of the future, we have, for example, in progress or critical skills event, organizing a database. Do you know how long, when it will be done?
So it's in progress. It's one of those things that we're constantly updating. I know that Angel is going through, and that's part of his handover, is compiling all of the events that were done this year, as well as all of our files. The PD files are kind of a nightmare. Just with all the stuff in handover, there's some stuff in Drive, there's some stuff in my personal computer, there's some stuff that was on Box. So we're just, as part of the handover, we're trying to compile all of that, and that's going to be the coordinator's jobs to combine all of those cases and continuously add from it. So I'll probably send out an email to the CPs to find out the best access point to all that information, whether that's a Google Drive or whatever. So that'll be coming shortly.
That's my question.
Okay, so, well, should I send you? Of course, you will followed by CPS separation.
Eva of Portugal, first of all, thank you, Steph, for your report. So PAS project was one of the projects that I raised many questions this year because I was really worried about it. I want to say that you mentioned on your report to revise the guidelines for PAS, and I want to ask you why just now, almost in the end of the mandate, you are doing that and not doing it here. Thank you.
So PAS isn't something that's actually fully within my portfolio. It's a joint initiative between PE, public health, and pharmacy education. The way that it worked this year was that myself as an executive, I was most familiar with the system, so I kind of tried to take the lead in initiating that. But it was hard to kind of bring all three of us together and have us on the same page. We did have a lengthy discussion about it at EM2, following up some follow-up questions, and it was just hard to get all of us kind of on the same page with that. So we met up again during EM3, and that was an agenda item that is still on our agenda items for the EM3 that we need to just finalize, and then it can be brought up to you guys. CPSA Croatia, followed by SOP Denmark.
CPSA Croatia. First, I want to congratulate all the efforts you put in this year's online patient counseling event. It was really well done. And now I have a question regarding the subtitle goals for the term, and it says hold an event within the European region regarding the patient counseling event, and it says that it is complete. I'm not sure what you're referring here to. Can you clarify that?
Sure. So we wanted to make sure that we brought PD events to the European region, and Chris hosted a PCE workshop at the IPSF on assembly this year, so that was our way of enabling our European members to hopefully have some sort of experience with PD, and we chose PCE for that.
Seeing as a Denmark, first of all, I want to say thank you because this was my first LIT ever, and I really didn't have any expectation for it too, but it was really one of the best decisions ever because it was so amazing. And I would like to say thank you for your hard work, as well as thank you to all the extras who helped the workshop, as well as Lamia and Sport who couldn't be here unfortunately. And it was really amazing. Thank you.
LPSA Lebanon, followed by IPSF Portugal.
I was actually asking this question about the database because I was wondering if anything similar to that we can use soon for our symposium like cases compared to questions. Is there anything similar, or are we have to wait for the database?
If you want any questions or examples of things, email the coordinators of whatever the event, CC myself, and I'll make sure that we get you some sample cases, or we can even create something for you to use. Portugal.
If I have Portugal, another topic that I want to raise is the IPSF newsletter that you focused this year. I want to know what is the goal of it, and how it is made, and if it is going to be released this year or not, because we are almost at the end of our mandate, so it's it.
So the IPSF newsletter was a newsletter that Amy had published through media publication. So the first publication went out in April, and then the second publication is immediate. But so basically what we decided at the beginning of the year during EM3 is we were going to combine publications to make sure that we included PD, PE initiatives, PH initiatives all in one publication. We found that we were having issues with so many publications and not all of them were actually being read, so we wanted to combine them. So that's what I'm talking about there, is the IPSF newsletter that is also under the media publications campaign, and we've submitted our proposal for. that. Hands Nigeria, followed by EPSA.
Okay, Ajibade, Hands Nigeria. I want to say thank you to the professional development. They've been wonderful. Basically, for the first time in Afro, we had the first confounding event and it's very successful. I give kudos to the coordinators and to the chairperson. Also, I want to give a suggestion. A suggestion is if there's a way the patient counseling can be employed in every country, not just at each region during conferences. It can be done at every country to make them maybe during their country's program. It can be employed and that will make more impact and make people interested during general conference. Thank you.
Just to respond to that, if any country is interested in hosting a patient counseling event, they can always email us, the training coordinator, or the patient counseling event coordinator and myself. And like I said too, I'm more than happy to submit cases and the guidelines to help you initiate that within your own countries.
Okay, so the 8 minutes are over. I would like to ask the GA if they would mind that EPSA, if they would mind EPSA making a question. They are the best ones on the list. So one more question and we'll finish. Okay, I see any names from EPSA.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your report. And following, Hannah, that's the Vice President of External Relations. Thank you for your report. And following a motion which was accepted our last annual conference, that our members wanted to IPSF to provide us with a list of IPSF trainers in the European region. And this motion, you want to provide us with a list until our first team meeting. That is over already. So I'm wondering if you already have the requested information, and if not, you can provide us with the deadline so we can also inform our members. Thank you.
So that list was on the topic to be submitted during week 3. Due to internet access, it's been really difficult to be able to compile that and send it, but I can probably look to send it at the end of Congress. Every day we're getting more and more trainers added to that list, and more trainers are submitting their 8 hours to become accredited as an IPSF trainer, and those are the IPSF trainers on the list that will be sent to you, so the ones that actually completed those 8 hours of accreditation.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. So the floor is closed for discussion, and we will now vote on motion 33 that states this: the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Chairperson of Professional Development 2015-2016. Anyone against this motion, please raise your voting cards up high. Any abstentions? The report was approved unanimously. Okay, so now we are going to be so just a few seconds so James can catch up with the minutes.
So while it's catching up, I'll tell you guys a little story. So last year, we had World Congress in India, and who attended the World Congress in India last year? Yeah, that's nice. So you guys remember the gala night? Maybe. Before the gala night, we all gathered out by the pool. We had a lovely time. And I realized later on that I left my watch there, left on the table. No idea where it went. I was sad. This morning at breakfast, I sat down across from Eduardo. And I said, Eduardo, where'd you get that watch? He says, oh, is it yours? I found it. Do you want it back? I said, yeah. He said, thank you for loaning it to me for a year.
Thank you, Mike, for sharing that with us. Please. Okay. So, back to the financial report. Okay, so let's repeat this. Would the GA like to see the financial report displayed on the screen? Okay, so it's mainly green, so we will display.
Okay. So, if I talk back here, you guys still hear me? Yes? No? Test, check 1, 2. Okay, so you guys have had time to review the annual financial report that I put out. Main thing is, had the figures there from the 2015 financial outcome. We had a significant surplus last year, mainly due to low expenses for the year. So we can see here, regional offices didn't spend their allocated budgets. Those roll over into this year. Domains and publications, we had very few, or we had reduced physical publications, so we didn't spend much on printing. Campaigns is fine. Department expenses were very close to bang on what was budgeted. Permanent officer and office expenses were extremely low. Main thing in there, notary fees and accounting fees. Those weren't paid until 2016. So the surplus is kind of a line. I had paid that money, but it doesn't show up in that budget because it's been until this year. That goes for IPSF reserves as well. You can see that we planned to put $7,000 aside. It didn't actually get transferred until after the new year. Yeah, the rest of the financial report is pretty well as it was written when I published it out. So the only other thing I'm going to say before I open the floor for questions, because I know this is going to be the first one, with regard to set fees. A couple people have mentioned it to me already. So in double checking the official documents, the regulations we have set aside for set fees don't explicitly state what the fees are used for. As of right now, they do go toward the IPSF general budget. You can see here that it does actually make up a significant portion of the budget. I don't have the historical records of, I don't have in my fingertips the historical records of the Federation. When they first implemented set and set fees, it probably was for an administrative purpose, and it's kind of evolved over time to our current setup. I'm not opposed to exploring new options with regard to set fees, but if we're to decrease them to a more administrative level for website maintenance, we would have to find other ways to supplement the IPSF budget. If we're at a point where we're getting significant external partnerships and grants, and we're not going to be as reliant on that income, then definitely we can look at more of a means of using the funds as a maintenance for the set database. And at that point, I'm done talking, and I will let you guys question. Do you have any questions? KMPSU in the Netherlands, followed by Contact Portugal.
Peter, in the Netherlands, thank you for your presentation. You said the office expenses were allocated to 16. Right? Because they were so low, 10%. Yeah. Does that mean the budget for 2016 will be much higher? And how much do we expect it will, or we will have to do that?
Okay, so in terms of primer fees for this year's budget, the notary fee and accountancy fee were pushed forward into this year. So the allocated amount for 2016 looks very similar to that figure, but we will actually just spend that amount rather than coming out way under. In terms of IPSF reserves, very similar again. The figure is going to look similar on this year, but we're not going to go way under. Did that answer your question? Up at Portugal, followed by IPSF.
Paul, of Portugal, first of all, congratulations for the report and for all the amazing work you've been doing. And a little disclaimer, I'm going to ask a few questions, but it's just for me to understand exactly what it is. Okay? Because some of the points I don't think some of the points are not really detailed in the report, so just for me to know exactly how this works. So let's start from the you mentioned here. Let me see where in the income from partners and grants. Is it in the external income or is it in the miscellaneous income? So what's exactly the external income and what's exactly the miscellaneous income? Because also if I add up all the values from the incomes, neither of the values is not given. So what exactly is each one? And as far from the questions, let me see here.
Sorry, we can only take one comment at a time. So I'll add to the bottom speakers list. This is making me nostalgic for last year. This is great. Okay, so to address your question, so for grants and sponsorship, I counted it as if it was budgeted and expected, it was external income. So already established partnerships were external income. Miscellaneous income was unexpected stuff, so stuff that developed during that time frame. For example, this year we received a compounding grant from PCTA, which was just developed during the mandate. Climate was in charge of that, which was fantastic. That I would have classified as miscellaneous income instead of external income. And I'll also say, with regards to the simplicity of these statements, normally what would go along with this is a completed audited report from our auditor in the Netherlands. As I discussed during my report, they didn't complete it on time, so I wasn't able to incorporate it in my report. So after World Congress, I'll be chasing them up to make sure it gets finalized, and I'll distribute that out to the CPs. LPSA Lebanon, followed by KMP Sweden Netherlands.
Well, LPSA Lebanon, since the report was gazetted in June 30th, some of the membership fees here, some people do not, MIA fees. It says arranged to get in cash with Congress, and there's also for SEPs, some of them also were arranged to pay with that money.
Yes, so I mentioned this at the start of my treasury report, probably should have gone in here, but everybody I've listed there who is in jeopardy of losing membership, they've settled up, so they're fine with the exception of FOP Nepal and PSSN Namibia, who I actually left out of there. I admitted when I was making the report. In terms of people who were planning to pay at World Congress, got it. And thank you to those member organizations that did have to pay in cash and have paid. KMPS we have the Netherlands, followed by APA Portugal.
Dietrich, KMPS Netherlands. First, it's some kind of sort of direct on the last one. Does that mean Nepal and the other one loses their membership? Just for clarification. Now, my question is, the regional offices did not spend their whole budget, but the budget rolls over into this year. I'm not so very well known with finance stuff, so you kind of made it a reservation for next year, for this year. Don't you put that up there as well? And then why is it not? Which explains it.
Yes, that is pretty much entirely correct. So each of the regional working groups has now paid a budget per year. They also have a reserve fund. So excess amounts that they do not spend in the year roll into the reserve, which they can pull out the next year. The reserve funds I did not include on this, probably should have, but essentially as a reserve fund, we've got a savings account that incorporates those regional working group reserves, the development fund reserves, and savings for 75th World Congress.
How much is
there? I'll have to look that up. I'm not off the top of my head. OPEF, followed by OPEF.
Thank you, OPEF Portugal. For future purposes, I think that maybe the external income and the miscellaneous income should be more detailed, maybe after or in the same graph, like subtopics. This came from here, this came from over there, or maybe in the explanation front, more structuralized so we can see it here. And maybe just a suggestion, maybe you could do like in Excel, where we can see where everything goes if you want to. So we will have to come here and ask these questions and just say sometimes what we do up there. But as far as my question is, as far as the apartment goes,
I'm sorry, the phone just rang, so the minutes are up. We have two questions from APF and one from IPSF in Zimbabwe. I would like to know if the GA wants to hear the questions and the answers. Pardon? I apologize. Okay, so additionally SOP as well. Any problems with this? Okay, great.
Okay, so APEF Portugal. As far as the apartment goes, I know it's useful to have an apartment in the Netherlands, but is it $13,000 useful to have the apartment? That's the question that I really. It's expensive, and I'm not fully aware yet of the usefulness of the apartment. So, if you clarify that for me, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll respond to that in two different points. Yeah, so when the apartment was first invested in, I say invested in, but we rent, we don't get bought. It was done so because they found at that point in time, the cost of hosting the majority of the executive committee twice annually for face-to-face meetings, the cost of hosting them externally, so at a hostel or residence or hotel, was much higher than just paying for an apartment year-round. I can investigate if that's still the case, but second point is, under miscellaneous income, we actually have income from that fund. So IPSF interns, basically any members who have business in the Netherlands can stay at the apartment for 10 euro a night, and we invoice them for that, and it's a form of income. So it's not just straight bleeding money, we do have money coming in. Oh, is this the second question? The direct. So next question from APEF and then IPSF Zimbabwe.
If APEF Portugal, do you think that for next year it is valid to have more merchandise and to direct some strength merchandise in order to have in the future better income?
So, in response to that, I'll remind everybody that as an agenda item, I will be presenting the budget for 2017, and I will tell you right now that I have incorporated funds to invest in merchandise, to kind of expand that role, and also some of the items are running well, so I've just got an amount allocated that is an option for us. CBSA Zimbabwe, followed by SOP Canada.
Remember Grace, CBSA Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for the report. Just that maybe I need some clarity also to add on to what other official directors just said. I wanted to ask, what is the balance which is brought forward from last year's, is it for the calendar of 2014, as in the net balance, or maybe it's falling under one of the categories on the income? Maybe I just
So the end financials from 2014, is that what the question was?
I meant as in like there's the balance, the net balance, is in the initial balance. As in.
Okay, yeah, this is just income outcome. This isn't the actual amount on hand, like. Yeah, so this is just cash flow. It doesn't include our assets essentially. So cash in bank, cash in savings, merchandise on hand. That I submit to our auditor, and that would be the audited report that they would send to me. But as I said earlier, they haven't gotten it to me in time, so the report I got here is kind of a skeleton frame. And that goes back to your comment earlier about having a more detailed report. Normally, this would be a more detailed report, and once I have that information, I will distribute it to the CDs. Denmark.
Thank you for your report. Just a very short comment. It is useful and across the papers where state that personal guidance for officials wasn't there really injustice plan for officials where Ghana was not one of them to apply for just membership.
I will direct that comment to James.
This is a little bit out of date, this information. So we did have Uganda, the Planting World Association we wrote on. We do currently have a member from Uganda called Muksa. So the Ugandan member, we had a long discussion about how we officially put through, because the UPSA Association is a national association, which was formed from this. So they are two separate organizations that still exist, and the question was whether they would change their name from UPSA to UPSA and then just become a member this year, or whether UPSA would have to join as a new member and then become a member next year. And so that's what happened in the end. We decided they should join as a new member association, as UPSA still want to continue their membership.
So I'll pass and then I'll take your response.
I'll just ask what the unforeseen expenses were, just so we don't approve a report where we don't know where the unforeseen expenses were, because I didn't find them on the rest of the report.
So I think the agreement will be extended the time is just to take the questions up on the table.
So I would ask for a procedural motion to just ask one more question, just to see, just for us to know before we can approve where exactly the unforeseen expenses.
Or I can promise you that they'll come up when I talk about the budget.
Okay.
So, we're not doing direct comments. I'm done taking comments. But if you want to just ask me afterwards, if you have questions about something.
Technical from GPS again.
You did GPS again. I'm not sure if it's exactly technical, but the list of those who applied this year, isn't that it's supposed to be there? I'm not too sure.
That's not a technical, but I'll just say for point of information, I finalized this report before the deadline for members to apply, so it's not quicker than that.
Thank you, Mark. Okay. So back to the motion 45. We will now vote on this motion, which reads this: the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the financial report 2015-2016. Everybody against this motion, please raise their voting cards up high. The abstentions? The report was approved unanimously. So we're moving to motion number 47. It's the 62nd IPSF General Assembly. Actually, just 1 minute. It's motion 47 that refers to the budget for 2016-2017. So I will give the floor to Michael. So just a few moments.
And budget money for buying a waterfront computer.
Vote for yourself and then leave it up to yourself.
Okay.
So can I have emotion cards on whether you remind that Michael has a 10-minute limit to present the budget for 2016-17? Okay, so 10 minutes.
Okay. So just to give you an overview of what we're looking at here. For the column, so here we have, this is a summary of everything. So that's income, and different columns are different years. So that's 2015 here. That's the budget for 2015. This is the actual outcome for 2015. This is the budgeted amount for 2016. That's the revision for 2016 done at the half year. And this is my proposed numbers for 2017. Down below, the columns stay, and it goes into further detail for each of these fields. So you can see we've got membership fees listed up here in a broad category, and then it further breaks it down. So I think this is what you were looking for earlier, Portugal. Everything that you see right here is income. We scooch over here, this is expenditures. So, apologies, this wasn't made available in the drive earlier. I finished it ages ago, but thought I emailed it in. So, here we go. I've got changes outlined in yellow. The main thing I'm looking at here is the difference between 2016 budget going into 2017. So differences in yellow, membership fees going up a little bit because, as you guys saw yesterday, we welcome a lot of new members in your federation. So I kind of made an estimate based on who hasn't paid this year and what income is not expected from new members, or what we expect for membership fees for 2017. So that's a pretty straightforward change. Again, here is sponsorship support. So that change there is based on our current agreements. Not much else to say there. For expenditures, executive meetings increased by a little bit. Main reason behind that is that the last 2 years, our budget for EM3 had to be expanded because of the expense of flying 12 plus people to a more remote location. We're kind of fortunate for IPSF moving forward that we have hosts for congresses in more, I guess, exotic locations, diverse locations. Thank you, James. So last year in Hyderabad, this year in Harare, it becomes more expensive to fly this many people around. So this was a change Lawrence made partway through last year, and I found I had to do the same thing again this year. So I'm at the point now where realistically it looks like it makes sense to make it a permanent change.
But that's what she was saying. That's what she was saying to switch
physical promotional material. We don't tend to do as much of this as we have in the past. So I kind of slashed the budget down on that. SEP database. This was, I'm not sure why this was still left over in the old budgets, but we're at the point now where we have to look at revamping the whole thing, almost starting from scratch. So we're looking at a few different options. So that I've put this number down, and we'll see what happens with it. 1,500 seems like a reasonable estimate. Printed publications, that kind of goes in with promotional material. It's gone down a bit based on historical use of that item. Websites, so similar to SEP database, the IPSF website is due for an upgrade, as mentioned by Amy. And this is hopefully an investment that will be able to get us a return. And then with the website maintenance, the amount that wasn't there are reallocated into the initial investments because we're hoping what's going to happen is we have 2 brand new websites from scratch and the maintenance costs won't come up until 2018. We got projects and campaigns. WHA Summit event, that has already passed. So we finalized what we actually spent on that. So that was decreased partway. But people felt it wasn't utilized as well as it could have been. So I've left it at the budget amount of 2,000. This was an idea discussed last year, I believe, or whatever executive meetings, that we have members of the IPSF team who are integral to the running of Congress. So it seemed unfair that at the exec we get travel partially reimbursed. It made sense for these people, since they're crucial at running of the World Congress, that we should give them a little help. World Congress of Public Health. This was a partnership that was, I believe, formed under the last executive committee, and it made sense for us to think about having an attendee at the World Congress. Anna first brought this to my attention, and I asked her if she could find out with the agreement if we could get a subsidized or free attendance. I haven't heard back on that, so hopefully this is the maximum that would ever be. And like I've got the brackets, it's every 2 years. So the next one is coming up. Yeah, next April. So the next one wouldn't be until 2 years after. So obviously this item would not be in the 2018 budget. And WFPHA membership, that was, again, an agreement made in the last exec, but it was omitted from the budget. So when this came to my attention, I had to claim this unforeseen expenditure, and I'm just adding it back in because that needs to be planned for, because we will be paying it next year. Notary, this was one of those expenses that was originally in the 2015 budget, didn't get spent it in 2016, so we won't have to spend it next year. This is the fee to get our constitution notarized. The Dutch like to charge a lot of money for that kind of stuff. So we paid $1,000. That is done now. We're hoping not to have to update the constitution for several years. So this is a fee that we won't see for a while, we hope. Merchandise in to kind of balance the budget this year. At the revision point, I made it 1,500, so $2,000. Make sure everybody get back up to $2,000, as I mentioned in the discussion about the annual financial report. IPSF reserves, again, this is something I mentioned in the report. It was originally budgeted as $5,000 for 2015. Didn't happen. The funds were transferred, so it's now in the 2016 budget, and I can tell you that that has been completed. So for 2017, I can put it back to where it's normally at, 1,000. And just as an asterisk there, if I have a surplus in the bank account at the end of the year, I'll usually call that an investment in reserves. That is a brief overview, but I'm presuming you'll have some questions. So I believe we'll now be open for questions or discussion. KMP is with the Netherlands.
Hello, office expenses are already on the amount. Apartment expenses. Phone, internet, and cable TV.
You can't tell it. You can't tell
I have another question. The SEP database states €1,500 for 2017. Was that to update, to create a new database for the website? Well, I think the last, I got one offer from a company for 42,000, 24,000, way too much. That's a bit high, but I think 1,500 might be a bit low. So if you need a bit like 3,000, you get a really beautiful website, I think.
Okay, thanks for that. The other thing we're planning is, I've got 2 items there, websites and the SEP database. We're hoping to incorporate the SEP database with the IPSF website. So essentially those 2 budget items will be used simultaneously. So 3,500 is a little bit more healthy. And again, we're still at the point where we're exploring bids. So this is the plan right now. If that changes, I'm going to go lines, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, essentially. And I did also want to mention, Deidre reminded me this earlier as we were in the audience meeting, under apartment expenses, phone, internet, and cable TV, this year we are on track to actually go over the budgeted amount, and that's because at some point last year, cable was hooked up to the apartment. We had people living in there year-round. This year, though, we only have a few interns in there. There's not too many currently in there. So Deidre pointed out that this is kind of a higher expense than it needs to be. So with the help of KPSV and our current officer, I'm going to be looking at incorporating those utilities and maybe the slash TV. So that expense should be lower. I welcome any other questions. Okay, Portugal.
All of Portugal, just a little detail in IPSF unforeseen expenses. It's like the budget for 2017 should be the sum of the two lines for the right, because we have 1,000 plus 2,000, but we have the total unforeseen expenses 3,355. Just some clarification on this.
That's weird. When I do all my totaling, I use that figure there. I'm working off Lauren, like the figures from Lawrence's the media administrator, the figures he had in, and I guess he just never summed those up. I did not realize that. So it would be something like it would be something like that, but I would actually get it properly finalized and redistributed. So these two items should add up to this item, and this is what I use to calculate total expenditure for the year.
If approved, this will be approved. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Rwanda.
Rwanda. Would you mind if you repeated the causal chain of the set activities?
Okay, so the change in the SEP database. So, I believe this came up in Bianca's report that the SEP database was not working properly this year. We actually had to pay some, we actually had to pay like immediate funds to get it fixed because at one point it literally was not working. And it's been in kind of disrepair for a while now. We've reached a point where we've decided it's time to get a new website for the database. Let me actually pull the numbers and talk about here for you. So in previous years, we've only had the SEP database listed as a maintenance cost because it was the same one. A maintenance fee to the company that handled it. This year, though, we're going to start fresh a new website, hopefully incorporated with the IPSF website. That's why we don't have a maintenance fee down here. We have the database itself. Does that answer your question? No.
In fact, I was talking about there's the, sorry? I was saying the reimbursement, which is done after the set, for those who got grants. Yeah. Does that have a relation with the treasury?
Okay. So that's more of a development fund topic. I think it would probably be more appropriate to ask during the report for the development fund coordinator, Brian Hall. Once he presents his report, he'll probably discuss it in his report, but that question will probably be more appropriate for him. And I think if I comment from Alba Portugal.
Paulo, Portugal. You said you had predicted some funds for merchandising before. There's 0 here. Expenses, or am I looking at the wrong way?
This is expenses. So I'm planning in 2017 to spend €2,000.
Oh, it's okay. So what exactly is merchandise written off?
So merchandise written off is essentially merchandise that we have as an asset that we distribute without people paying for it. You understand? Yeah. For everyone else, that would be like gifts or using it as promotion material. We haven't done a lot of that, so typically it ends up in 0.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? I'll turn the floor back over to Eduardo.
So we are back to motion 47. That is the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the budget for 2016-2017. So, since there are no more comments or questions, I will close the floor for discussion and we will proceed to voting on the motion. Anyone against this motion, please raise your voting cards high. Abstentions? The budget has been approved unanimously. Someone please check this feedback note. Okay. So we're going now for motion 52 that reads this: the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the policy coordinator, parliamentary coordinator, development fund coordinator, research coordinator, internship coordinator, clinical schools event coordinator, patient counseling event coordinator, technology event coordinator, public health advocacy coordinator, public health awareness coordinator, medicine awareness coordinator, and humanitarian coordinator for 2015-2016. Just a point of information from James.
So with the coordinator reports, the last one was done actually was in quarter, because last year we didn't sit. So just a reminder, for the coordinator reports, we usually don't actually get the coordinators to present. If they are here, then we ask questions and ask the chairperson of that portfolio can answer any questions. And I have separated the reports based on a couple of things. So that these correspond these reports received in time. I then have a motion for reports received late. I have a third motion for reports that weren't received at all, and 2 for the reports that have extenuating or exceptional circumstances. So that's the way that they've been structured in terms of motions.
Okay, so yes, Michael?
Michael, I guess I've heard. I just want to say when I spoke last for the budget, question from IPSF Rwanda, I thought the development fund report was going to be everything. So I'll just wanted to make a point of information that the change in supplement that you're talking about, the event grant for World Congress, we paid as a we paid the registration fee for people who won the grant for World Congress, and that was done to kind of help financially support people who were applying for the grant. Same can't really be done for SEP because in this case I was paying to a third party who has an agreement with IPSF, in this case the World Congress. In this situation, I would be paying directly to the student without having any confirmation that they are actually going on SEP, that they will successfully complete it. In this case right now, we've still got to treat the SEP grant as it's a permit.
Thank you, Michael. So I open the floor for discussion on this motion. Since there are no comments, I will. Yes or no? Since there are no comments, I will close it for discussion, and we will vote on motion 52. Anyone against this motion, please raise and vote the cards applied. Any abstentions? So these reports were approved unanimously. Okay, so as James explained previously, motion 53 is about the reports that were not received. So I will read the motion. This is the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Merchandise Coordinator, Marketing Coordinator, Editor-in-Chief Coordinator, Editor-in-Chief, Corporate Relations Coordinator, Pharmacy Professional Awareness Coordinator, Pharmacy Education Advocacy Coordinator, 2015-16. I will open the floor for discussion. Technical from Pepsi Canada.
Cassandra, House Canada, the marketing coordinator is spelled incorrectly. It needs an A.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I will remind the General Assembly that it's a reminder that these are the reports that have not been received. Can't be Sweden.
Peter again, please, in the Netherlands. I would just want to say that I'm going to vote against because we don't do anything. So everyone, please do not accept this. Okay.
Portugal, basically it's the same thing as the Netherlands, but couldn't the executive committee make the motion as not officially not accept instead of try make the motion to accept it? It's not So it's not allowed. But okay, so we will also vote against. Thank you.
James, just in regards to that, the reason we do all applications in positive form, so when we word them as accepted in a positive form. If you start wording in a negative form, you get confused. And so, especially non-native visuals, it can be quite confusing, so that's why we just simply state it.
Any other comments or questions? Any other comments or questions? So I will close the floor for discussion and we will vote on motion 53. Anyone against this motion, please raise their voting cards up high. Thank you. Any abstentions? Okay, so this motion will not be carried with 43 votes against and 2 abstentions and 0 votes for. Next, we have motion 54 that reads, yes, the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the training coordinator 2015-2016. So I will ask James to provide clarification on this motion.
So if you haven't checked the box drive today, you probably won't have this report, as in the last session, I actually just received it. So it is considered a late report, but we do have it. So this is why I put it as a separate motion and allow you guys to decide whether you choose to accept it or not.
Upper culture.
If I have a question, it's just to say that we are going to vote against it because we don't have time to do it.
Yes, from the Netherlands.
Which we gave these emails, can we maybe make an exception on the rule not to read the report, just to see what's in there. So read this one.
Can I have a motion carried on this? Okay, I see mainly green. So we will read it, but before IPS 11. Okay. Of course.
All of Portugal, I really think these reports need to be sent with more time, and we really shouldn't approve the report that was sent that was only gave to us this day, because if you make this exception, everyone can send the reports in the same day. They're going to be approved. And obviously, there is no time for us to work with a critical mind to analyze it and see what could be good and what's not true.
KPS with the Netherlands followed by Capsicum.
Don't zoom in on that Kingston Jamaica activity. Make sure it's zoomed out.
So it seems as if the report was delivered to Steph before the deadline, and was not delivered to me before the deadline. So I only received it today from the training coordinator, whereas Steph received it at the deadline.
So we have KPS with the Netherlands followed by Capsicum Canada, and then LPS 11.
So did retain the Netherlands. I indeed think we should not accept this, but we could at least read it right now, and maybe lay it on the table later, accept it in conference or something like that. We think later, it's really nice to, well, at least talk about it here. So that's the only reason why I'm reading now.
Capsicum Canada followed by LPS 11.
Cassandra, Council Canada. I would want to make a motion to table this until a later GA session, so we can have time to read it all at once, since it was provided at the correct time, and it was not a fault of the coordinator for it to not be received in the Congress booklet, or the Google Drive, and I think we should still discuss it in GA. Whether or not we do that now or tomorrow, I feel like we should discuss it.
So having that said, we have the seconder right proponent, and motivation was provided. So I open the floor for discussion. JSP USA followed by LPS 11.
USA. Were all the coordinators made aware that they needed to make sure that James was the one they submitted their reports to? Because if so, I don't know reason why we should legal it right now without anything.
Yes, an email was sent with the deadline for delivery of the reports by James. So LPS 11.
I actually don't think this is going to stand Cassandra, but I was instead of leaving it to tomorrow, what if we just read it during the next night and then still report on it?
Okay, so the procedural motion to table the motion doesn't require a time frame, so we can just table it and we can informally see when we can do it. So would you like to read the report during coffee break and then vote on it afterwards? Technical from IPSF.
Are we able to know how many reports were provided late before we decide this? Only this one. Thank you.
Can you state your name and association, please?
My sincere support team, Pekka Fipsfeld.
Thank you, Pekka. So, IPSF workshop.
Call of workshop. We really think we should be reading this report in the General Assembly or in the document, because if we make this exception, who's telling us that next year they won't send all the reports during the next? Of course, that might not happen, but it might happen more often. Yes.
Technical from IPSF 11.
You just were asking for the right reports to make sure before that comment, you were asking for our any cars and then
Yes, and
we just went back to the discussion. So
after Portugal showed his the red card, so probably they just want to reinforce their.
Just kidding. Thank you.
Are you finished, Paul?
Since I was interrupted, now I can follow up, so yes.
Okay, thank you. Since we have no more speakers on the list, I will close the floor for discussion on this motion. This is a procedural motion, say no abstentions, and we need we need 50% plus one. So, procedural motion to table this motion and informally decided to review it after the coffee break. Any vote against? Please raise your voting cards.
But I'm tired. And
Thank you.
Mangwana, you said
Those
you want
voting
to
for,
be
please raise your voting cards.
how, like you want to take it from there, or you want to be, you're going to be sitting here tomorrow. Oh, they're going to be conferencing tomorrow. So to connect it, you have to remove this.
Plug it in the cord.
Oh, that was using. Oh, okay. So I need another.
Okay, so we
But
have
are they ports
29 votes for and 16 votes against. So we will table this motion until after the coffee break.
Okay. Yeah, you can try that. That could be the best.
And actually, we're going for coffee break now, so you can start opening the file.
Okay, so let's start broadcasting.